buyers of new construction homes are walking away from as much as over $300,000 in deposits. This is a trend that we've been seeing lately, and it's a trend that's picking up momentum, and it's going to continue for the next little while. Now, this is what I feel is just the beginning of what is, I would say, the worst that's yet to come. Now, buyers who particularly purchased pre-construction properties in about 2020, 2021, and even the early part of 2022 are now starting to face the wrath of high interest rates and are now in an unfortunate position where they're not able to close on their properties, in many cases walking away from their deposits. Here are just a few examples of what we're seeing on the assignment groups on the internet right now. You've got a seller in this case walking away from $200,000 in deposit in a prime Mississauga location. This is a freehold and unit town. Got another one here, seller walking away from $320,000 of deposit in Markham. Here you've got a seller also walking away from $200,000 paid in deposits in Whitby for a semi-detached. Purchase price was $1.42 million and are now asking $1.22. And another one in Whitby, freehold townhouse assignment, seller walking away from $160,000 in deposit. And this is just a few of the many examples that we're seeing on the assignment market where a lot of sellers are walking away from their original deposits. When they bought in 2020 and 2021 and even the beginning of 2022, interest rates were extremely low and demand was incredibly high for pre-construction condos and homes as well. The demand at the time was so high that a lot of pre-construction projects were selling within hours, and a lot of builders were selling out of their units within days. The demand was especially high in the low-rise sector. What I mean by low-rise is detached, semi-detached townhouses that are typically lower in inventory than condos are. Condo buildings will have anywhere from 300 to sometimes 600 units in every project, but not so much with low-rise homes. In fact, a lot of builders at that time had a lottery system. For example, Mattamy Homes had a lottery system on a lot of their projects where they would have 1,000 registrants and they would only pick certain people out of a lottery system who could actually go and buy a unit. Now, the thing to keep in mind with the detached, semi-detached, and townhouses, these so-called low-rise homes, is that the turnaround time for these type of properties is a lot shorter than condos because the turnaround time is typically around 8 to 12 months, whereas for condos it could be 4 to 5 years. So there's not a whole lot of time for people to overcome any kind of shifts in the market. It's a pretty quick turnaround. So the people that bought at the peak around the end of 2021, early 2022, their pre-construction homes are now coming up for occupancy and closing. Clearly, when things were at the peak during that time, things were completely unsustainable, right? Interest rates were super low, prices were sky high. I mean, on the resale side, we were seeing pricing go up, month over month, $50,000 in some cases. So everybody was in a frenzy to buy at that time. And nobody had anticipated rates to go up as rapidly as they are right now. People thought we were going to be in a 2% rate environment forever. Well, now things have changed because the Bank of Canada has started to rapidly raise interest rates from March of 2022. And for those people who have their pre-construction condos and homes coming up for closing are no longer able to qualify for a mortgage. The other issue that a lot of these purchasers are having is that appraisals are coming back short, especially in areas that are just outside of Toronto. A lot of the resale market took as high as a 40% hit year over year in terms of values. Sales are also record low right now. If you look at the recent sales data from this fall, sales numbers have been lower than they've been for a very long time, and active listings are consistently up. We're in a very favorable buyer's market right now. So a lot of these original buyers who are now trying to sell their properties on assignment are having a very difficult time, which is causing them to move away from their deposit in many of these cases. Some people are also assigning their pre-construction condos and homes on assignment at cost. They're pretty much selling it at original price and maybe adding their commissions and any other fees that are associated. So they're pretty much making no profit. I've worked with sellers right now in this market who have paid deposits over the last 4 years and they haven't seen any profit from there whatsoever. Now, the other issue is that for a lot of these buyers, unfortunately, they're not able to qualify for a mortgage and their appraisals are coming up short. And if their appraisals are coming up short, they have to then cover the difference between the appraisal value and the purchase price. So let's just say that difference is $100,000. Maybe they bought something for $1.2 million and the banks are appraising it at 1.1. They have to come up with that $100,000 gap. And not everybody has that kind of cash laying around right now. Now, builders, on the other hand, are also not reducing their prices because for the builder, they're taking a hit as well if they do decide to give a price reduction. You see, what happens is if a buyer chooses to not close on their property, the builder has to resell that same exact property for now a much lower value, so they're losing money, but also they can go back and sue the buyer for not closing and not agreeing and committing to their agreement. The issue also is that a lot of buyers who purchased these pre-construction properties 2 and 3 years ago only bought it with the intention to assign, because again, they bought it at a very hot market, thinking that values were going to continue to just go up year over year, and that was just not sustainable. So right now, a lot of buyers are in a distressed position where they have to put their units for assignment, causing them to walk away from their deposits, selling at a loss. In some cases, they're not even able to sell their original unit, even if they're trying to take a loss, and are now at the risk of getting sued by the builder. I believe as we're approaching 2024, rates are still at their highest they've been for a very long time. We're going to continue to see a lot of these distressed sales come onto the market and flood the market. Obviously, a great time for a new buyer who has a lot of cash to come up and pick things up for under market value, but they still have to be able to qualify at a very high rate. And although rate cuts are being predicted in around the spring of 2024, I doubt the Bank of Canada is going to rapidly start cutting rates. If anything, they're going to probably do it gradually and monitor inflation. The average months of inventory across the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board districts stand at about 4 months of inventory, which means only 1 out of 4 homes are selling at this time. This is a very favorable buyer's market, so buyers have the upper hand right now. I'm helping buyers right now secure assignment deals for original buyers that are just in a distressed position, walking away from their original deposits, in some cases just selling at original purchase price, just adding on their costs. And this is a common theme that I'm seeing almost every single day. Now, if you're someone who did buy a pre-construction condo a few years ago and you're now in a potentially distressed position where you're not sure what your options may be, click the link in the description to book a time with me where we may be able to go over some options and solutions catered specifically for you. And on the flip side, if you're a buyer looking to pick up on some of these assignment deals, then go ahead and book a time with me as well so we can explore those options as well. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.